Hello there.
Okay, spoiler talk for Scream 2022. I'm gonna reveal it straight off the bat. I'm gonna tell you who Ghostface is because that's what you want to hear. That's what you want to know. I know a lot of you guys out there love the spoilers and just want to spoil yourselves. So yeah, this is the spoiler review all the way. I'm gonna try and keep it short. As a spoiler review, just mention the key bits I remember because we are going to do a spoiler live stream together later in the week once everyone has had the chance to see Scream. So yeah, off the bat, Ghostface in Scream is... It's not me. In this film, there are two Ghostface killers, and they are Amber, one of the girls, and Jack Quaid's character, Richie, I believe. That's his name. Them two are the Ghostface killers, and yes, you probably think to yourself, there's not much excitement in my voice at the moment, and yes, they were really underwhelming as Ghostface. That's what I said in my non-spoiler review. I thought the third act was really lackluster in this film and really lacked originality. So what this film is trying to do in terms of its rules and meta humor, it's making fun of requels, which is like a sequel slash reboot of the original but using the legacy character, sort of what Star Wars and Jurassic Park did. But this film does become sort of a parody of, or it becomes what it's making fun of. And I don't know if that's intentional in terms of the main character, Samantha. She becomes sort of the Sydney Prescott, and her love interest, her boyfriend, which is Jack Quaid's character, ends up being the killer. Now, in terms of finding out who the killer is, it became obvious it was Jack Quaid, and I guessed it midway through the film in the hospital sequence and hospital chase sequence. That's because he lets Dewey die. And yes, Dewey does die in this film. And if you guys go back to a couple months ago, my trailer reaction, I pointed out that there was a scene in the film where Gale Weathers is seen screaming. And yes, I guess that Dewey is going to die because there's no other character she'd scream like that before, unless it's a legacy character. But the trailer did give away a lot in terms of not like spoiling who Ghostface is, but beat for beat what happens in the story and who is where during what happens in the story. And yes, you know, the third act takes place at Stu Marker's house, and I was thinking to myself, oh, could we potentially see Matthew Lillard return as Stu? I was like, oh, maybe. I was hoping, because a lot of people came out, like, I remember Grace Randolph saying that you'll never guess who Ghostface is, and I'm like, they're gonna do it, and I was like, huh? I was like, because it was them two, and they're not related to the initial killers. The girl Amber, her parents bought Stu's old house, and Jack Quaid's character, I think he's just obsessed with making a movie, and he hates like what the genre has become, in terms of like how Hollywood's just become sick reboots and rehashes of the original. And yeah, Amber found him like outside one time, drunk, and they fell in love and they call each other babe, and they're just the killers. And I can't remember much of it because it's not that memorable in my opinion. The Ghostface reveal was really underwhelming in this film in my opinion, although Ghostface is really brutal in this film. Like, the kills are brutal, man. In particular, one of the characters, Judy Hicks, she dies in this film. I thought she was going to be the killer pre-film. Judy Hicks and her son, Wes Hicks, Wes Craven, a nice little hint there, Easter egg. I thought they were going to be the two killers. I thought they were going to be it, and like, it was them bringing the legacy characters back, and they were going to like create just another havoc 10 years later, but it wasn't the case. They die very early on. I think it's Dylan Minette's character. Yeah, his death is really brutal. He gets stabbed in the neck, but the knife goes through like the skin, and it's absolutely brutal. But yeah, what else is there to talk about? I'm trying to keep this short and sweet so you guys don't, like, I don't know, I don't want to spoil it all for you, but it is a spoiler talk. The opening scene is absolutely fantastic. I mean, oh my gosh, I forgot her name. I'm trying to remember. Jenna Ortega, Take a Bow. Fantastic opening sequence. Fantastic. Like, well directed. Cleverly written in terms of like the self-awareness of the Scream world as well, and the stab films. Just fantastic. And quizzing her on the stab films, and then she researches on her phone. It's like, hang on a moment, I can just research like the cast on my phone, and she sort of outsmarts Ghostface with it, and I really enjoyed it. However, She survives actually the initial attack. I don't know how. She actually gets freaking slaughtered, and I don't know how Ghostface didn't see to it that she was dead, because the opening title crawl cuts, and yeah, I guess the cops came, that's why, as the title crawl happened, so Ghostface had to run away. So I guess he gets one final slash in, but it wasn't a killer blow because she survives. But yeah, what really bummed me out in this film is Dewey's death, and how it happened in the hospital scene, because Ghostface was attacking them, and it was Samantha, Tara, her sister, like, who was severely injured, and Jack Quaid's character, and Dewey in the hospital. They're trying to get her sister out. And what happens is Dewey gets attacked by Ghostface. He gets the upper hand, but then Ghostface gets the upper hand again. And Jack Quaid's just sitting there on the floor after he's got stabbed in the arm. He's just sitting there on the floor letting it happen for a while. He lets it happen for a while. And I was like, why don't you go help Dewey out? And I was like, hang on a second, that's sus. That's very sus. Because Dewey gets the upper hand on Ghostface again and knocks her, as we know, it's Amber, into the glass, unconscious. And Jack Quaid looks shocked at that moment, because at that point Dewey had put 2 shots into Ghostface as well. And I'm guessing that she was wearing some sort of body armor. And they go into the elevator all together, and Jack Quaid's character is pretty shocked. I'm like, yeah, there's something to do with it. You're related to this Ghostface killer. And Dewey's like, oh, hang on, I gotta make sure he's dead. I gotta go make sure they always come back. So he goes to put a bullet in the head, and as soon as he goes to put the bullet in the head, Gale Weathers calls him, and then bang, Ghostface wakes up, stabs Dewey, kills him. And it was such an avoidable death, because wouldn't Samantha and Tara and Jack Quaid's character, like Samantha and Tara in hindsight, want to come with Dewey as he shoots Ghostface to find out who's doing these killings and attacking them? Because Samantha in this film is Billy Loomis's long lost daughter, or like Billy Loomis's daughter. Her and her sister Tara, they're Billy Loomis's daughters. Billy Loomis at a young age had sex with their mother, and their father never knew that it was Billy Loomis's kid. She cheated on him. That's how it happens eventually. But Samantha has these weird flashbacks to Billy Loomis's character. Not flashbacks, sorry. Visions of Billy Loomis's character. And I think it's the actual Billy Loomis actor, just a little bit the age. She has weird visions of him, and like he tells her what to do. And it kind of reminded me of Scream 3, where Sidney Prescott sees her mother. And I just found that really goofy a bit. And at points, the film did feel like an MTV Scream Season 3, with some of the acting and some of the teenage drama, some of the core characters, like the core teenage group went to focus on. They're really expendable. They're not as memorable as the original film. And yeah, I think this film, in terms of like where it sits in the Scream franchise, I think it's the 3rd best. I don't think it's the best one from the original. I do prefer 4, I think, still, over this one. Even though I really, really loved the opening scene to this film. I was smiling the whole way through it. I really enjoyed it. I do think the 3rd act, as I said in my non-spoiler review, really lets this film down. But I do love so many of the Easter eggs in this film. We get Martha Meeks returning, Randy's sister, her niece and nephew. Her uncle. Far out. Her, obviously, kids. Part of the main gang in this film, and their uncle was Randy. And there's some cool, I guess, scenes in terms of like making fun of horror films and jump scares with one. This is before Judy Hicks's son meets his demise, where it's like the jump scare where he opens the cupboard and you're expecting Ghostface to be behind the cupboard. No, it's a bait. He opens the refrigerator. You think Ghostface is going to be behind the refrigerator. No, it's another bait. And then it's clever with that and how it makes fun of like sort of jump scares and stuff. But where the film, I think, as well falters, and I think a lot of you will, I think a lot of Scream fans might have an issue with this, is its handling of the legacy characters, in particular Gale Weathers and Sidney Prescott. They're not in the film that much, and I do like a certain Easter egg. Sidney Prescott was saying Mark is taking care of the kids, and that's a nod to Scream 3. I think Detective Mark Kincaid. So I think Sidney does marry him and does have kids with him, but he's never seen in the film Patrick Dempsey, because probably couldn't get him on board. But yeah, I do like that Easter egg. But yeah, the legacy characters, as I said before, it does become what the film is parodying. It sort of becomes like the Force Awakens of Scream, where you focus on your original character, Rey, which in this case is Samantha, and then you kill off a legacy character, Han Solo, for instance. You kill off Dewey. And then as well, you get like two surviving ones as well, but they're not as central to the plot. They sort of come in later into the film, and that's what you get as well with this one with Sydney and Gale. They're not in the film as much until the third act, and then the third act, as I said, it's lacking originality. I was expecting another twist. Maybe there's a third Ghostface, and it was going to be Matthew Lillard returning as Stu, and those two were his kids. I was like, that would have been great, but it wasn't as surprising as I thought it was going to be. And as well, there's one more thing I wanted to get off my chest, and I'll think about it. I'm trying to remember. Oh yes, it's like they do a clever bit with like the stab films. They're really prominent in this film, and it's like a shot-for-shot scene of the Randy scene when he's drunk on the couch in the first film, and one of the characters in this film is watching that scene while she's drunk at a party, and she's watching it, and Randy's saying, Randy on screen, like the false Randy from the stab film, saying, "Look out behind you," and she's saying, "Don't turn around." She's like saying, turn around," and a Ghostface pops up behind her in the actual film as well in real time. She doesn't end up dying, Mindy. She's Martha, Randy's niece as well, and she doesn't end up dying, and her brother doesn't end up dying despite you thinking he's dead because he gets brutally murdered. You see it in the trailer. Ghostface runs out the house and he's running away and he gets stabbed from behind. But yeah, I do think the trailer did give away a lot of plot points in this film in terms of like beat for beat what's going to happen and where certain characters are, because I was predicting the plot as soon as Dewey died and what was going to happen, and I was like, damn, the trailer did give away kind of a bit too much despite not showing who Ghostface was. But yeah, that's been my spoiler review of Scream 2022, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think of the spoilers I gave. I know there's so much I missed. I cannot wait to do the spoiler live stream with you guys. I had some dumb slasher fun with this film. There's some creative writing in this. However, the film does sometimes become what it's trying to parody, and it does fall victim to that, and I think it lacked a bit of originality in the third act. But let me know what you guys think of my spoilers and how I articulated this review. As always, been your boy Moses. Take care. God bless. Peace.